So our plans here in West Virginia call for 3 states initially, what we're calling phase 1 of our corridor efforts here in West Virginia along I-79. The first station will come online in mid-August. That'll be in Bridgeport at an existing convenience store near Charles Point. The second station that will come online will be here in Charleston. That'll be our Spring Street station. That'll come online in mid-October. And then we hope to have our Jane Lou location, which will be the third location, online sometime in 2014. We see compressed natural gas not only as the transportation fuel of tomorrow, we see it as the transportation fuel of today. It makes an extreme amount of sense when you talk about the environmental benefits as well as the economic benefits that the fuel can bring to a fleet or a consumer. In terms of West Virginia, we're here primarily because of the proactive legislation that the state of West Virginia, through the legislature and the leadership of Governor Tomlin, the package that they've put together to help investors realize that investment more quickly through tax incentives on the vehicles. Because those incentives are in place, consumers, businesses, whoever the customer may be, can realize their investment in a much quicker effort. So it made sense to focus our strategic efforts here in West Virginia as opposed to other states. I think there are 3 key advantages. Number 1, it's much cleaner. 30% less CO2, 70% less CO. Number 2, it's domestic. Every day we spend $1.25 trillion on foreign oil. Why spend that money on foreign oil when we can spend that money on West Virginia gas? And point 3, there's a clear economic advantage, anywhere from 30 to 50% savings over traditional fuels. I think it'll happen quicker than what we think. I don't have a crystal ball as much as I would like to have one. I think clearly you'll see business and government be on the forefront of the market, and once viability is proven in those segments, I think consumers will get extremely excited. And for a person that's looking at buying a new vehicle today, maybe they're in the market as we speak for a vehicle. When you talk about the fact that you have the West Virginia tax credits, and maybe you want to go pick up a new Honda Civic, you can very quickly make back your incremental investment. And with companies like IGS that are going to be putting infrastructure in West Virginia, if that infrastructure is local to where you're traveling and where you're doing business, as a consumer, you could very easily and very feasibly be on natural gas today, because it's the best option that we have when it comes to transportation fuel. Clearly, we all want to be good stewards of our environment. So when we can use a transportation fuel that cuts CO2 by 30%, that cuts carbon monoxide by 70%, and that takes 90% of the particulate matter or the emissions that come out of the back of the tailpipe, when it eliminates those by that factor, it's a clear winner when it comes to the environment. I think right now the obstacle is the availability of conversion kits. And I think that is, I think we're growing and I think we're making strides. As the market calls out more and more, you'll see more kits become available so that it's not just 2 or 3 vehicles that we might be able to convert, it's 5 and 10 or 15 or 20. Combine that with the fact that the auto manufacturers are starting to see that the market is there and they're offering NGVs straight from factory. I think the market is definitely moving in the right direction. So as we see more and more kits that are EPA certified, as we see those kits become available and we see more and more NGVs that are coming straight from factory, I think then we'll see broad-based adoption of compressed natural gas on a consumer level. Not only are natural gas vehicles safe, I would argue to you that compressed natural gas vehicles are safer than vehicles that run on traditional fuel. And the reason being is that natural gas is lighter than air. So the first thing you need to understand, these tanks that house the natural gas that move your vehicle are incredibly safe, and the chances that one of them could ever rupture are infinitesimal. But on the off chance that that would happen, the natural gas being lighter than air is just going to filter up into the atmosphere away from the site of the accident. Whereas vehicles that run on gasoline and diesel, or any kind of liquid fuel for that matter, that fuel is going to continue to pull around the site of the accident. So the fire hazard itself is going to quickly evaporate, move into the atmosphere, and flee the scene of the accident. In that case, I would argue to you, as I do with anyone, that CNG vehicles are much safer than traditional vehicles that are running on the fuel that's available to you today. Oh, it's extremely exciting right now. We have an abundance of natural gas that is right underneath our feet. The opportunity to get in our vehicle every day, turn the keys, start the car, and know that we're running on a resource that came from right here in West Virginia as opposed to overseas, and the opportunity to do that at a cost that is much less expensive than the prices that we see on the sign today. That's incredibly exciting to us at IGS Energy, and it's one of the reasons that we want to be a front runner in this business and provide the infrastructure that will allow West Virginians to do what I've described every day.